I fold the resignation letter in half, my hands surprisingly steady after 2 years of trembling through family dinners. The paper feels lighter than it should for something that will bring down an empire built on lies. "Renee, sweetheart, could you pass the wine?" Daniel's mother, Margaret, smiles at me from across the mahogany table. The same smile she wore when she told me I was overthinking things that first week on the job. The same smile that said I was too young, too naive, too confused to understand their sophisticated business practices. I reach for the bottle and the wire taped to my ribs shifts slightly. Agent Harris assured me the recording device was undetectable, but after 24 months of wearing it to every gathering, every hushed conversation in Daniel's father's study, every family meeting where they spoke in code about offshore accounts, I still expect someone to notice. "Of course," I say, pouring the Bordeaux into her crystal glass. My voice doesn't shake anymore. That took practice. 3 years ago, I was Renee Patterson, fresh accounting graduate with a 3.9 GPA and dreams of making partner at a Big Four firm someday. I married Daniel Weston after a whirlwind courtship, dazzled by their family's wealth and the opportunity to start my career at Weston Industries. What luck, I thought, to marry into success and land my dream job in one fell swoop. The first red flag wasn't subtle. Within a week, I'd found discrepancies that made my stomach churn. Invoices for services never rendered, payments to shell companies that existed only on paper, money flowing through accounts like water through a sieve, leaving just enough residue to look legitimate on the surface. I remember the morning I finally worked up the courage to approach Harold, Daniel's father and the company's CEO. I'd printed out spreadsheets, highlighted the irregularities, prepared a presentation that would make any professor proud. I knocked on his office door at 8 a.m. sharp, manila folder clutched in my sweating hands. "Sir, I think there might be some errors in our accounting system, some transactions that don't quite add up." Harold barely glanced at my carefully prepared evidence. "Renee, dear, you're still learning how complex our business model is. These are perfectly legitimate consulting fees and international trade arrangements. Perhaps you should focus on the basic bookkeeping until you better understand our operations." That night, Daniel echoed his father's dismissal. "Dad's right, honey. You're probably just misreading the reports. Their business deals are incredibly sophisticated, way above entry-level accounting." But I knew fraud when I saw it. Those late nights studying forensic accounting weren't wasted. I also knew that speaking up again would be career suicide and possibly marriage suicide too. So I started documenting everything instead. Every falsified invoice got photocopied, every suspicious wire transfer got traced and recorded. I created hidden folders on my laptop, backed everything up to encrypted drives, built a timeline that would make federal prosecutors weep with joy. And I waited for the right moment to act. That moment came when I overheard Harold on the phone with someone he called our friend in the Caymans, discussing a $15 million adjustment to the foundation accounts. The Westbrook Family Foundation, their supposed charitable organization that I'd been told was Harold's pet project to help underprivileged children. The next day, I called the FBI. Agent Payla Harris met me at a coffee shop downtown, her expression carefully neutral as I spread out copies of my evidence across a corner table. She didn't speak for 10 minutes, just studied the papers with the intensity of someone reading a treasure map. "Mrs. Weston," she finally said, "what you've uncovered here represents one of the most comprehensive money laundering operations we've seen in this district. Tax evasion, wire fraud, probably RICO violations. Are you prepared for what cooperation with our investigation would entail?" I thought about Daniel's gentle hands, the way he still brought me coffee in bed every morning. I thought about Margaret's proud smile when she introduced me as our brilliant daughter-in-law, the accountant. I thought about Harold's booming laughter during Sunday dinners, the way he called me kiddo and asked about my day. Then I thought about the $15 million that should have gone to help children, now sitting in some billionaire's yacht fund instead. What do I need to do? The hardest part wasn't wearing the wire or pretending everything was normal. It was watching Daniel's face when his family explained why I needed to drop my confusion about their business practices. His earnest expression as he helped gaslight his own wife. His gentle voice telling me I was working too hard and seeing problems that weren't there. Maybe he really believed it. Maybe he'd been raised in this world of justified criminality for so long that he genuinely couldn't see the difference anymore. Or maybe he knew exactly what his family was doing and chose them over me the moment I became a threat. I'll probably never know which version breaks my heart more. "The quarterly reports look excellent, Renee," Harold says now, raising his glass in a toast. "Your attention to detail has been invaluable to this family." "Thank you," I reply, touching my wine glass to his. The irony is almost too perfect. My attention to detail is indeed about to be invaluable, just not in the way he imagines. After dinner, I excuse myself to use the bathroom and slip the resignation letter under Harold's office door. By morning, they'll know. By noon, federal agents will be executing search warrants. By evening, I'll be in a safe house somewhere, starting the process of becoming someone entirely new. Agent Morrison explained that witness protection isn't like the movies. There won't be dramatic chase scenes or shootouts, just a quiet transition to a new identity, a new city, a new life built on the ashes of the old one. The Westbrooks' reach is long, and their resources extensive, she warned. Disappearing completely is the only way to stay safe. I think about my student loans, still unpaid. I wouldn't let Daniel pay them. My tiny shoebox of an apartment that I kept after marrying Daniel, the one place that felt like mine. My sister's wedding next month where I was supposed to be maid of honor. My cat, Mr. Whiskers, who will have to find a new home because pets complicate relocations. All of it gone because I couldn't look the other way when confronted with millions of dollars in stolen money. "Ready to head home, sweetheart?" Daniel appears beside me as I return from the bathroom. His arm slides around my waist and I lean into him one last time, memorizing the scent of his cologne. "Actually, I think I'll stay a bit longer. Help your mother with the dishes." He kisses my temple. "You're too good to us, you know that." I watch him gather his coat and keys, exchange goodbyes with his parents, promise to call tomorrow. The door closes behind him with a soft click that sounds like the period at the end of a very long sentence. Margaret and Harold retire to the living room with their nightcaps, leaving me alone in the kitchen with the dirty wine glasses. I wash each one carefully, thoroughly, the way I've done everything for the past 2 years. When the last glass is dried and put away, I untuck my blouse and carefully remove the wire, peeling the tape away from my skin with a sharp hiss. My phone buzzes. "Package delivered. Team is ready. See you at the rendezvous point." It was signed, Agent Harris. I take one last look around the kitchen where I've spent dozens of Sunday evenings, where Margaret taught me her recipe for beef bourguignon, where Harold would sneak me extra dessert while joking about my sweet tooth. It's a beautiful kitchen in a beautiful house, bought with very ugly money. Tomorrow's headlines will call it the largest financial fraud case in the state's history. The reporters will probably paint me as either a hero or a traitor, depending on their perspective. But tonight, walking out of this house for the last time, I'm just a 25-year-old woman who chose justice over comfort, truth over family, integrity over love. The resignation letter sitting on Harold's desk contains one final line I haven't mentioned. "Please tell Daniel I'm sorry it had to end this way, but not sorry that it's ending. Some prices are worth paying, even when they cost everything you thought you wanted." I close the front door gently behind me and walk toward the black sedan waiting at the curb, toward Agent Morrison's reassuring nod, to a future I can't yet imagine, but know I've earned the right to see. The wire in my pocket has recorded its last conversation. Tomorrow, the real trial begins.